Welcome back, our dear viewers. As we have promised at the beginning of the show, that we are going to talk today about a very interesting topic, which is humor and jokes about women. We have been tackling that issue before, but in ancient Egypt, and how women were tackled in Proverbs, and how women were tackled in the ancient Egyptian civilization. But now we are going to talk about the jokes and humor and how they are tackling women. To shed more light on that topic, we are very much delighted to have our dear guest in the studio, Dr. Heba Nayef. She is the professor of mass communications and public relations. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Dr. Heba. Now, to continue what we have talked about before, the illustration of women. In an earlier episode of the program, we talked about how women are depicted
in ancient Egypt.
Now, unfortunately, it's the other way around. Now there are a lot of comics and illustrations about women that are in a negative way, especially online, on the internet.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Actually, as we said last time, in ancient Egypt, the focus or the target of jokes were not women. Was social status and foreigners.
Yeah.
But in modern times, as we can see, we have been the target of lots of sexist humor. Yeah. And as we said before, remember, Hela, we said that one of the things that's very serious about sexist jokes and sexist humor is that it makes you tolerate and accept things which you will usually not accept in normal cases.
Conversational.
Yes,
it's quoted in a funny way.
Because it makes you laugh at something, and the minute you laugh at it, you start to accept it. That's
very dangerous, Dr. Heba, because if I'm starting to laugh about such a joke against women, that would lead me to accept that maybe deep inside, and that could lead to violence, as we have been talking before going on air.
On air, yes. This is, as you said, anything you are biased or prejudiced against, you can make it pass and you can make it tolerant if you put it in, the humorous discourse. You make the other, and you say, I'm just joking. Why can't you accept a joke? And it's never a joke. It's not, it's like, poisoned honey. I called it dissecting the poisoned honey. This part of research I did, because this is what I did. I thought there is honey, we laugh, but it's poisonous. And the effect goes beyond what you can imagine, as you have said, dear. It makes you sometimes promote physical violence. And this is not what I say. Actually, this is what lots of research has said. For example, Professor Ford has written numerous research on the effects of sexist humor on physical violence.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about your research, Dr. Heba, in particular.
First of all, I wanted to go into the online thing. Why? Because social media is the fashion and the trend and so on. And for something else, as we say that, why television is important? Because it disseminates culture. And social media is doing the same. It disseminates and spreads ideas and makes you laugh at things. And it has something, the internet meme, it's this part which is usually a picture with a caption and something on it, and then a comment on it, and then people start to share it.
Yes.
Usually you have this character which is called a sahbi.
Yes.
You know this well-known character, comic character. And this sahbi tells through internet memes lots of things, and most of the time it's either political or women. These are the two major things he talks about. I took the around 450 of the jokes by Asahbi, the internet memes, which would lead us to the importance of internet memes in another episode. And then I thought I had one question first: is it women in general which are targeted, or
Egyptian women,
or a specific type of women? They are all Egyptian. I concentrated on Egyptian women only.
Okay.
And then I discovered it's half and half, 50-50, almost 50-50. Most of 50% of the jokes were about women in general, girls, without naming who is the woman.
Yeah.
And 50% were about women in particular. I called them a specific sexist humor. And then I asked, what type of women? Actually, the wife came in 75% of the jokes.
Oh my God.
So 75% of my data was about wives. And of course, all negative. No need to say that there was any kind of positivity
No
about
positivity
it.
at all.
No. And then second came to it the mother-in-law.
Yes.
And which is very strange, is that it's not the mother-in-law of the husband.
It's always of the mother.
It's always of the wife. In only one incident, one occurrence, was the mother-in-law of the woman. So it tells you here that who is the producer of the joke. Okay.
The husband, of course.
We say that language as an institution does not
Who makes
belong
fun of
to
his
us.
wife and his mother-in-law.
So who's the men?
Men.
The masculine part of our society are the ones who are producing these jokes. First about the wife, then about the mother-in-law. Okay. For example, the sister and the mother were practically not there. You know,
I've seen some about the mother.
Positive. You know, implicitly positive.
No, not even
about
positive.
the mother.
No, Dr. Heba, I've seen some making fun of the mother, like how she storms into the room to wake up her son, like the army, for example, or how she keeps asking the son to buy stuff for
the part of my
the
data
house.
had a positive thing about this. Means this is one of the things about research. You don't have everything.
Yes.
Okay. So I studied 400
sample.
and a sample exactly, and then I had this question. Okay, the wife. How is she depicted? For example, is it physical traits or personal traits, which really bothers men? And then I found something very revealing about the Egyptian society, is that we are a very conservative society. So you cannot make reference to parts of the body because this is breaking a taboo. And if you break a taboo, people will not laugh.
So there are also limits
Yes.
to the jokes.
Strangely enough, this is against whatever is known about social media and things online, because you are always anonymous. Nobody knows you.
So you can always break the taboo, because nobody knows
Which did
you.
not happen with the jokes. Why? Because
maybe it would not spread the same way if it's a taboo breaker or if it's very
people
open.
will not share something if you talk about physical parts of there was only one occurrence which talked about physical body parts of the woman, which means that you are against, you are not following what's known about social media. You are still following the society and the ideology and the culture, what we have. We are a conservative society. But when it talks about even the physical traits mentioned, it was a general one. Ugly, fat, you know, these type of traits, which is very general, not specific, not parts of the body. This is in contradiction to what's known about jokes in the West.
Okay.
Because there's an explicit mention of body parts in the West. In our culture, they do not exist. Okay. But what about the personal traits? We are depicted as, number one, hateful.
Really?
Yes. This came top of the list. Hateful.
I thought demanding, but you just surprised
hateful.
me.
Number two, stupid. Stupidity came second rate. As in the physical trait, number one, ugly. Okay, number two, fat.
Okay.
Okay, so we had
ugly and fat when it comes to physical traits.
Physical traits. Personal traits, actually hateful, distasteful, both, and number two, stupid. Even the clever ones clever women were depicted as stupid in the sample I studied. Okay, so these are the personal traits. Then I had another idea. What about our use of language? Okay, did they say something about the use of language? Yes, they did. You know, it's well known that throughout history there have been literary quotations and sayings about the way we use language, women. This has been illustrated in the jokes on the internet, the Sahbi guy. He was very severe on us, saying that we are like chatterbox. You know, this difference between women or girls and boys when in a phone call. You know, this famous joke.
I've seen that.
The guys in 50
Boy calls
seconds,
mom, boy calls girl, boy calls boy. Right?
Not this one. You know, in 50 seconds, two boys would agree on everything, where to go and what to wear and everything. While in 2 hours and 30, it goes like this: 2 hours, 30 minutes, 30 seconds. People, girls were discussing why. In this contemptuous way, you know.
Okay.
So, with this disregard. So it's like that we don't have, you know, value for time, and we do not know how to talk, which is not true.
Of course.
Not because I am a woman.
Nothing of that is true.
Scientifically speaking, women excel in talking. Scientifically speaking, because the you know, this left hemisphere thing where the language areas are, and the left hemisphere is the dominant one, etc. in women in general. So we excel in talking. Okay, one of the things we excel in is talking, but this is not.
But what you have been saying now, that we do as women, we do excel in talking, but in nonsense or in a very.
That is what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. That's what they are saying.
Yeah,
because we do excel in talking, but in important.
We talk on the phone. Yes, it's true. Maybe women, because they have more free time, so they use telephone.
Which is not always the case.
But they exaggerate.
As well.
They exaggerate. This exaggeration. Don't tell me that men do not talk on the phone, right?
They do talk a lot about trivial stuff.
Yes.
Trust me.
Now we are being biased here.
Because you cannot put all women in one basket.
And all men.
Not all
totally
men in one basket. There are various types of women, and there are still various types of men.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to these comics and. Okay, it does apply to certain people, men and women, not only women.
So it's
that
not related to gender.
As well.
Yes,
we need not be related to gender.
Sexist humor. We need to stop them, whether they are related to men or women.
So as not to make them acceptable.
Yes, because
especially by the younger generation.
You can't use humor in this way to target women or to attack women, because, as you said, this is the one thing I always say. Serious because of the younger generation. You can't accept the fact that a boy, for example, the physical violence you were talking about, the jokes promoting physical violence, it goes from a slap on the face, you know, this asahbi thing. I was shocked when I saw it. It goes like, Shakespeare says that the tears of women like gems, okay? So it's beautiful. Our tears are jewelry. So what was the comment of a sahbi? A slap in the face in the morning, a slap of the face in the afternoon, and you are a millionaire, my dear. So this is an instigating violence. It's a joke. But again, when you laugh at it, okay, it's okay for me to slap a girl.
Slap a woman.
And make her cry. Okay, and make her cry. That's the one thing. Numerous jokes about the fact that the wife died, a man is very happy about it. You know,
I've seen that.
Yes. All of us, we have seen this, numerous. What a man wants to do in his life except to go home and find that his wife has died.
Or mother-in-law.
Or mother-in-law, yeah. You know, this joke that says that a mother-in-law died and there was this, you know, black stain on the lips of the guy. So they asked him, why is the black stain? He said, a car hit his mother-in-law. He said, because I kissed the tires, you know. So he had this.
Because it killed her.
And all the jokes about funeral guy, you know, in the funeral, and he is crying. Why? Because it will torture her. You know, the husband.
But that is really cruel.
Very.
Yes, about the funeral jokes
and about the car as well.
And I've read a lot of, about that. I mean, there was that joke, two guys playing chess or something, playing some kind of game on a cafe. And then when a funeral passed by, the guy stood up. So his friend asked him, why are you standing up? He said, because we've been married for 50 years. and he goes on with the game, and he continues with the game.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I didn't really quite understand. Is this showing respect or disrespect for wife or women? I mean, it sends confusing signals.
I think this shows indifference. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know, his wife has died and he doesn't care. And they are numerous. This is the majority of jokes about wife concerning the physical violence. Is that the fact that she gloat on her torture, or the fact that she is dead? And we need, I know it's not the case. I mean, most of the husbands, they are very faithful and they love their wives. But why say, if you laugh at it all the time like this, so it sinks in the mind. And this is the effect and the impact of humorous sexism, which is even further, not just in humor, in sitcoms, as we discussed before. You know, in sitcoms and comedy and so on. You know, this image at the end of the movie and film in the 50s and 60s, in which the tyrannical wife gets a slap on the face, and then she goes on very happy, and it writes the end. This is the last scene for children. You know, in the movie Ibn Hamidu and, you know, all the comic movies we had, الحب كده, something like this. This has been repetitive, this scene. A slap on the face, and the wife is very happy. Which goes to one of the jokes that said, what's the similarity between a nail and a girl? Both cannot function unless you hit them on the head.
Really?
That's very offensive.
Okay,
Really?
that was
I think the bad part of that is that such types of jokes do not spread on the internet, or spread even without the participation of some girls who are ignorant about, or some women who are ignorant about the messages sent. I mean, they could simply share it because they find it funny, and they want to appear funny in front of their friends.
Yes,
that's scary.
And the lack of awareness is actually, they don't understand that this is the damage they're doing.
And what you have said is really true, because they want to make, okay, we don't care, we are laughing at it, we take a laugh, we take a joke. So this is very serious. No, we should stand and say, okay, we do not take such a joke, because you will not take a joke.
No, we do not accept that.
Yes, we do not take such a joke.
Okay.
That's what we want to stop and say, you know.
Well, this is definitely a serious issue, Dr. Heba, and we will continue throughout this program to discuss it. Thank you very much for coming this morning, Dr. Heba Nayef, Professor of Mass Comm, and we would certainly like to know more and go further and elaborate on your scientific research in this regard. We will do that in the upcoming episodes of The Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy to be
Thank
here.
you very much, Dr. Heba. And with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. You are in the company of myself, Mahisti Rabia, and my dear colleague, Hela Al-Hamalawi. Thank you very much, Hela.
Thank you, Mahisti. And we'll be joining you later in another edition of The Breakfast Show. It's goodbye for now.